The manuscript is submitted to your journal. You will see it resting here in the e-editorial discovery system. So for example, we have a manuscript here called test title just for the sake of this video. So what you'll want to do when it's in the initial assessment phase, you need to initially assess the manuscript to see if it's relevant to the journal and if it's something that you feel comfortable entering into the double-blind peer review process. So to do this, you will click on Initial Assessment. And then from this web page here, you will see some information about the manuscript, including the approximate word count, if there's figures in the article, tables, and if there are equations. So then what you'll do is if you'll open the document, you'll click this, it'll download, you'll open it, take a look at the manuscript. If it seems relevant, you can go ahead and click Initial Assessment Accept. And if you don't believe that it's relevant, then you can click Reject. But for the sake of this, we'll click Accept. Here comes a email that you are able to send right to the corresponding author of that manuscript. Basically, it just says, thank you for submitting your manuscript. Your paper will be evaluated, and it typically takes up to 12 to 16 weeks. And then it'll include email address so that they can contact you. So we will go ahead and send that email. So once this goes through, after the email is sent, you're going to proceed to anonymize the manuscript. And in this stage, essentially what you're going to do is download the paper again, open it again, and you want to make sure that there's no reference to the author of the manuscript. Obviously, with a double-blind peer review, we don't want the reviewers knowing who wrote the manuscript. And if you go through, remove any mentions of the authors if there is such a thing, and then you can save that document and upload it as a new file type. Otherwise, if there's no mention of the author or anything like that, you can just go ahead and use this manuscript just as the reviewer copy. And it explains right here in this section essentially what you want to look for. So we'll say this manuscript had no mention of the author. So we'll click Use as Reviewer Copy. And then you'll click Continue, and this just puts it in the file type that we like. Click Continue. And then once the page loads, you will have initially assessed the manuscript. You will have removed the identifying information of that author, and then you will be able to proceed with the next step, which is assigning it to members of the review board.